Famer, a 14-time Pro Bowler, now a Fox NFL analyst, and our friend Tony Gonzalez stopping in today. I'm looking for story time today.
You want some stories?
I know. You have a couple, and
I got a couple stories.
Okay, let's start with the Gronk. And now I believe this to be true. I think with power comes great responsibility. If you are the biggest kid in high school, and I've told my son this, he's going to be very tall. He's going to be 6'5", 6'6", and I said, Jackson, you're going to be one of the tallest kids in school. You know what that means? That don't let people bully people. You can step in, and if somebody's picking on a little kid, with size comes responsibility. You'll intimidate some kids, and you also have a responsibility to help those who can't help themselves.
Yes,
being a good dad, right?
Yeah,
blah blah
you're
blah.
Outstanding.
Gronk weighs 270 pounds. You can't do what he did. To a defense, it'd be one thing if he was a kicker doing that to you.
Yeah.
Dude, he is a 270-pound.
He could have hurt the kid. He could have hurt that guy.
The guy's got a concussion.
Does he really?
So in hockey, how it works, Tony? In hockey, if I knock you out, I'm out as long as you're out.
Really?
That's what they do in hockey. So I want story time. Have you ever gotten this ticked off?
Absolutely. Yes. And I understand what he's going through, okay? So when I was out there, I'm 6'5", whatever, 250 pounds, running around. There is no way you can guard Gronk one-on-one. You cannot do it. Scott, like I think you said before with Shaq.
Can't.
He got fouled every time.
Every play.
Every time. We're getting held every single time, and we're still getting open. So you get frustrated after a while. I remember I was going against, I think it was the Seattle Seahawks. We're playing in Seattle.
What a shock. They're holding you.
They're holding me, and this is back when I'm going to say it was Earl Thomas. I remember it was somebody with dreads, and I think that was him when he had dreads. Yeah. And they were holding me the whole time, and during the play was almost over, and I went over there, and I picked him up by his neck and his head, and I slammed him down on the ground. I don't know if it's Earl Thomas, but I think it was, and I apologize for it too. But you just lose your cool sometimes because you get so frustrated out there. It's like, man, because now I can't catch the ball because you're holding me, and the refs won't call it. What do I do?
Well, tight ends are very unique. Tight ends are a little bit like NBA centers. They're a matchup problem. I mean, Kobe was great, but Shaq was just a matchup problem.
Yeah.
Tight ends are a matchup problem. You're usually the tallest guys on the field. You're like 6'5", and you run. So you're too fast for backers and too big for corners. You do get held the most. If you watch the Patriots play, Tony, Gronk gets held constantly.
Constantly.
So story time, you can say that. Now, let's talk now Tom Brady freaking out. Now, I've said this before. Your life's a resume. Des Bryant came into this league as a rookie. Get me the ball. So when he blows up on the sideline, I don't know if Dez is in it for the team or Dez. But I know Russell Wilson, if he blows up at Pete Carroll, because I've watched him for 7 years. Yeah. He's a pro, all about winning. I've watched Brady for 15. I know when Tom yells, ain't about Tom getting his stats. That's about Tom pissed we didn't do something to get a 7. Yeah. So I'm going to give, your life resume tells me how I should interpret that. That didn't bother me. Did it bother you?
Not at all. Not at all. And understand this, that Tom Brady is that level, that's Michael Jordan type mentality. And the mentality that these guys have, and I tried to have this when I played, there is no amount of pressure that you can put on me that I don't put on myself. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what the other teams say. Within reason, what I care more about how I play and how I prepare. So when Tom, he knows he missed this. And so when Josh says that to him as he's coming off the sideline and then keeps chirping behind his back, it's like, I've had enough. And I've done this on the sideline before.
Oh, you have?
With coaches, yes, because it's like, shut up. You don't have to tell me that I'm missing. Okay, I know I dropped the ball. Don't tell me. You don't have to tell me make that catch, because I'm already frustrated. I'm already frustrated. And here's the deal: taking it deeper, this is what makes Tom so great. This is the dark side of
greatness,
of greatness. Like, I think we've talked about it before. There's a great book by Tim Grover called Relentless, and he worked with the guys like Michael Jordan, and every single great competitor, I'm talking the movers and shakers, you have to have this. I don't care if you're a CEO, a businessman, you have this side that will go dark sometime. And that's what Tom Brady did right here. He is the ultimate competitor. You have to have this. You don't become great unless you have this fire inside you.
Listen, I've said that there's great players, and then there was like Kobe. Kobe wouldn't leave the gym if he lost a game of horse. Kobe's like, I'm not leaving. So, guys after a while just lost the game. They wanted to go home and see their family. And sometimes I laugh. in my lifetime, there have been so few Bradys. I mean, there's like 7, 12, in the world of sports where they're high profile, they're great, they win, and all of them, I've heard a story about them off the air that I'm like, man, your term, they go dark.
Yes. Yes. Well, and usually you see, like gambling, partying, whatever it is, like that, they have that side of them,
that competitive,
like, I got to have it. That's what makes them so great. And I don't know what Tom does, but I will say this, that nobody prepares harder than him. Nobody cares more than him. You don't even have to really coach him because he can coach himself. He's seen everything. But like you said after the game, too, when they're brothers. They're around each other all the time. And Josh McDaniels, make no mistake about it, he's a competitive guy, too. This guy is a good coach. And so he's like, hey, I drew it up all week. I came up with this play, or we came up with it together, and then you missed it. He's frustrated, too. But I would say this, you leave Tom, but you don't have to tell him anything. And I felt when I played, especially as I got going later in my career, you don't have to tell me to catch the ball. You don't have to tell me I read it wrong, because I know I did that already. And if you do tell me, I'm going to bite your head off.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I know what it takes.
Okay. There have been 4 quarterbacks in my lifetime that were just incredible athletes. Randall Cunningham. Now, you're a young Sparky. You may not remember Randall.
Oh, come on. Randall Cunningham, Philadelphia Eagles?
Michael Vick,
Yep.
Steve Young, and Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Just different. The difference is only one of them struggles to get credit, Russell Wilson. Because my theory is that Pete Carroll's a defensive guy, and he empowers defensive players, and that's his brand. A little bit like Rex Ryan. Rex had quarterbacks, wasn't necessarily was the ally of quarterbacks. I'm watching that game last night, and Carson Wentz is terrific. And then you put him on the same field with Wilson, and you're like, Russell Wilson's an absolute freak.
Yeah.
He's as quick as Michael Vick. He's as clever as Randall Cunningham. He can be as accurate as Steve Young. I mean, when you watch him as an athlete, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. What do you see?
I see Hall of Fame talent. I think he's a phenomenal football player. It reminds me of Aaron Rodgers.